The City of Milton Common Council meeting, Tuesday, October 6, 2015, 7:03 p.m. Can I get confirmation of appropriate meeting notice?
The meeting was noticed here at City Hall, Piggly Wiggly, and Dave's Ace Hardware.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor to approve the agenda? Aye. All those opposed? We have an agenda. Item number 3, public comments regarding items which can be affected by council action. Is there anybody lined up to speak? Okay. Maxine, anything? No? No? Okay. Approval of the consent agenda. Is there anything that needs to be brought down? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor? All those opposed? The motion carries. Sorry, I scrolled down too fast. Are we on 5?
Yep.
Okay. Item number 5, confirmation of committee appointments. We have recommendations for, do we do them individually?
Yeah.
Okay. For the police commission, we had 2 applicants and we had a committee that did interviews, and we have a recommendation to appoint Pat Conlon to the police commission. Can I get a motion for an appointment?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? All those opposed? The motion carries. We also have an appointment for our Economic Development Commission, and Tom, how do I say his last name?
Tom Denbor.
Tom Denbor. He has actually served on the Economic Development Commission, and his term had expired, but I didn't receive confirmation that he wanted to be on it, but he continues to attend, so we might as well reconfirm him. And we appreciate his...
He knows.
He knows. He knows. Do I have a motion to approve Tom Denbor? I don't know why I have such a hard time.
Second.
All those in favor? All those opposed? All right. I think we're at full capacity for all of our committees.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Yay, Milton.
Yes.
Okay. Discussion and possible action regarding the Rock County Humane Society Purchase of Services Agreement.
Yeah, I just received, our purchase, our service agreement is due to expire December 31st. So Rock County Humane Society has submitted a new purchase of services agreement that would be effective from January 1st, 2016 through December 31st of 2017. Attorney Schrader has looked over the document and determined that it's basically the same contract we entered into previously and had no objections. So now I'm submitting it to council for approval.
Is there any questions?
Much as I would love to nitpick about the annual review, in case we got a hoarder or an event, this does protect us and even out the liability so we know what to expect. But I could nitpick otherwise.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Better to be safe.
Okay. All those in favor of adopting, or is there a motion to adopt the what is it? Approve the Rock County Humane Society Purchase of Services Agreement?
Can I just ask before we do that, was there a price change or any kind of an adjustment at all? Same price?
Correct.
Attorney Schrader?
Yeah, it's just a technical issue, just so the record is clear. The Rock County Humane Society changed their name, really. That's the only change on the document, is that they're now called Humane Society of Southern Wisconsin. Otherwise, it's the same, as Elena noted, is for 2 years, and the amount charged is the same.
There's a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Discussion and possible action regarding the grant of easement to TLC Properties Incorporated.
This is an easement that was requested by from the city, from Lamar. Lamar Advertising had a large billboard that was located on the city hall site. We allowed them to relocate it to a site near the new 26 bypass. Once that site was chosen, they realized that it was very difficult to access by any kind of public right-of-way. So they're asking for this easement, which is basically an access easement that would allow them to cross public lands in order to access their new billboard location for maintenance purposes and for refinishing that billboard. So it's a fairly straightforward easement request.
If I can just briefly follow up again with what Al said, it may look familiar in that it's essentially the same thing as the council approved in April of this year, but it wasn't ever recorded by TLC Properties, which is essentially Lamar. And so their attorney had sent another version, which we negotiated back and forth, and so this is what there is. It's basically the same as you'd approved previously, in that it provides them with a site for their sign. That's the part of the easement agreement, and then the other part, as Al indicated, is they have an easement to cross adjacent city property to get to their easement area, essentially. And I checked with Howie, and he said that that was appropriate, and there was already a route which they could take to get there.
Any other questions or concerns? Do I have a motion to approve the granting of an easement to TLC Properties?
So moved.
Is there a second? There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. All right, number 8 is a very exciting item that we have been waiting on for weeks. Discussion and possible action regarding the adoption of the proposed council policy statement number 1, alderperson vacancies.
This item was an item that was created by the Council Policy Ad Hoc Committee. If folks remember back in May, the Council Policy Ad Hoc Committee was created by the council in order to look at a variety of issues, but the first issue that they were kind of tasked to address was to create a policy to help formalize the appointment process for any vacant council seats as they may become available from time to time. The Council Policy Committee met on I think 3 occasions to discuss this policy and drafted the policy that is attached in your packet, known as Council Policy Statement number 1, filling of alderperson's position vacancies. The reason that I named it Council Policy Statement number 1 is that we anticipate that in the future there may be additional council policy statements. So we thought we would kind of track them accordingly. But as you can see, that the attached policy was drafted by that committee, had input from several other municipalities, and I don't know if Council President Roosh wants to add to anything that I've said about it. I wasn't actually there for the adoption of this, but.
No, I'm happy to, the participants put in a great deal of work with it, and we were lucky enough to have Herb Stinsky with us, who was very clear about going through the document and looking at every step of it to make sure that it made sense and followed clear statements so that they worked in consecutive order and didn't contradict one statement or the other. And so I found that very helpful as we went through it as a group. He spent a lot of time on his own to go through and do that so he could focus on it while we weren't in the group. And there's also that's not attached here, but there's also a graphic that will be attached to this that shows kind of a timeline so that you know what the timeline is for year 1, versus 2 versus 3, so that the time of the year when something needs to be looked at, in terms of whether you have to look at an election or whether it's, or an appointment versus the council appointing it, and, it just helps you to take a quick look at it rather than read through the whole policy. But if anyone has any questions, Linda or I would be happy to answer them for you if we can.
And we also did incorporate the state statutes where necessary so that there would not be any confusion or any questions.
Mark, do you see any issues?
I read through it and I didn't see any issues. No.
All right.
Well, then, it looks like we have some sort of stamp of approval. And I just want to thank you guys because, as you know, this is a voluntary committee, and I know you've worked hard and you've studied hard, and I'm so grateful for her because he has this expertise and he's donating his time and expertise to the city. And I think this is a great first council policy statement. So thank you very much for all the work that you did.
I think the council should adopt it.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm heading there. I know
right.
I don't talk a lot, but
All right.
sometimes I have
No,
something to
you're moving
say.
on. I'm opposed to that normally.
Yes, it's good entertainment and reading, but now let's move on.
Just like somebody turned me off. All right. Is there a motion to adopt the proposed council policy statement number 1, alderperson vacancies?
I move to adopt the
Is there a
policy
second?
as written.
Is there a second though? Oh, okay. The dramatic pause. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? I am happy to say the motion carried, and we have an adopted proposed council policy statement number 1.
I didn't want to second it because I was part of the committee.
Can you guys talk ahead of time? No. Just kidding. General items.
I have a general item. I'm just not sure about this. When we were when we had our liquor license that we had last given out, the 3 licenses, we had the owners of the bowling alley that had said that after 90 days that they would turn their license back if there wasn't any sales or any action on that particular building. And I was just wondering if are we following up on that, or are we looking at, has anything come about with the other business that wanted the license?
Our 90 days aren't up.
In short, I have heard no correspondence from the bowling alley folks. Elena, have you? So in short, we've had no communications from them. As far as when the actual 90 days is up, we're not there yet, but we're really close. As far as the other business, I heard from them, I think the next day, expressing disappointment in the decision, but I have not heard from them since then. Just kind of as a point of clarification, and I know Mark talked about this at length at that meeting. They offered up to relinquish that license, but they are not obligated to do so unless we follow the revocation policy or revocation process. So that if they don't have a business in place that's utilizing that, and the council would so choose to revoke that license, we would need to follow that process. Am I correct?
Yes.
So just their offer to return it after 90 days doesn't actually isn't enforceable until we go through that process.
And then just as another side note, there are no other applications. No one has shown interest in that license yet either.
Okay.
So,
Anything else?
Prairie seed collection is coming up. Everybody here should participate at least for 30 minutes for the prairie seed collection because it is such a cool time. It's just so much fun to be out there in the field. You know, you're out there. It's always a beautiful fall day, and it's an activity that can be done as a group. It can be done as individuals, family, business. It's just a very educational, nice way to spend a Saturday or Sunday.
Any other general items? Okay, our team building exercise is really, really easy. Do you remember what your primary and secondary color is? Linda.
Primary was blue. I think my secondary was, I was tied. I was the rainbow, you know.
Thank you.
So I can't tell you.
Teresa.
Green, yellow.
Well, Elena, you went through it, right?
Yeah. Blue and orange.
Blue and orange.
I was blue and green.
Maxine.
I think I was gold and blue.
Gold and blue.
I'm not sure.
Jeremy.
My primary and secondary were the same, so green and we're gonna say yellow. Green and yellow. Make sure you ask Becky.
Becky.
I'm not on the team.
Is there anybody else that has colors? Dan.
I believe I was green and orange.
Green and orange. I just want to say that I think the entire council acted like blues this week. I'm just saying. Okay, mayor and alderperson reports. Dave. Jeremy. Maxine. Teresa. Linda.
I already gave mine. It was prairie
That's right. Nancy.
No, I find a date.
Okay. Howie, I just have a question. Are we still doing brush collection?
There's an extra week.
Okay, all right. Because that was going to be my report. I don't have my brush out yet, so can you extend it now?
One extra week. Next week.
Okay.
We got this weekend to put it out. All next week.
Okay. City administrator?
Don't have a lot to report. It seems we've met a lot lately, but you know, things are moving along. Still waiting on numbers for the budget. Still waiting on the impending birth of my child.
Thank you. Our joint fire department? How's it going?
Good.
You can just stop.
Busy week for us. It's fire prevention week this week, so we're out talking to all the school kids. We'll see about 800 or 900 of them this week. We're also doing Survive Alive stuff down at the Survive Alive house down in Beloit. If you're not familiar with that, it's basically a house that's set up to take third graders through what it would be like to actually be in a fire situation where they'd have to escape and then make a 911 call. Very valuable training. So we're doing that this week. And then you'll probably see in the mail our seal drive letter, which is basically our big fundraiser for the year. And then this Sunday is our 13th annual pancake breakfast. So if you'd like to eat pancakes, cook pancakes, come down and hang out, we'd be glad to have you. And that's from 7 o'clock until noon.
Thank you very much.
How's the chief? Has he had, Lauren, did he have his surgery?
Yeah, I talked to him today. He made it one day out of surgery before he had to call.
Did he call us?
He emailed me yesterday.
No,
Oh, I thought he called for assistance. A fall.
No, he just called to see how it was going. No, he's doing well. It went well.
Chief of the police.
I think since we met last, I had my first coffee with the chief. Fantastic morning. I think I had probably at least a dozen, maybe a little bit more there. I have the next two scheduled. We're going to Milton Family Restaurant on the 16th of October of this month, so 10 days from now. And that'll be 9 to 11. And then I'm going to be doing the Gathering Place for a noon event, 11 to 1 on November 16th. So it's really going well. The Gazette surprised me with their coverage of that event and splashed it all over the front page above the fold on a Sunday. So apparently Jake made some amends, I guess, by doing that after he published the wrong date the week before. But I think it's going very, very well. And so I'm continuing to get to know this community, and people are very welcoming and providing really good feedback. And good in a positive sense too, on how well people hold my department in their regard in this town, which makes me pretty proud. So that's all I had.
Thank you, City Clerk, Deputy Treasurer.
This week I received correspondence from Quick Trip, and they have let me know that they do plan to open their doors on November 19th.
Director of Public Works.
We went over brush collection this extra week in October. The old police station should be gone by Friday. And they're gonna start the railroad tracks next Monday on Parkview for repair. So Parkview Drive will be closed at 5 in the morning next Monday, and it'll be closed all week until probably Friday. So, but for the, just that section. But then they're gonna do the detours. Yeah, just that, the railroad track section, yeah. Not the entire Parkview Drive.
So no trains will be going through town?
There probably will be some, but, they've just gotta schedule them, so, yeah.
Director of the Library.
The fundraising continues on track. We're at 1.55 million. The Ag Initiative segment of the fundraising is gaining momentum. They've reached 80,000 of their $150,000 goal. They do have a fundraiser auction scheduled for November 7th at Lucy's. 1 o'clock is the silent and 4 o'clock is the live auction, so everybody's invited to that.
Thank you.
Yes, donations, yes, of items, that would be great, yes.
Dan, the good news man.
I don't really have good news or bad news. But based on the timeline for the budget process that was kind of approved last week, you'll see on the agenda for 2 weeks from today, the preliminary budget that'll get published in the paper that last week in October in order to have the public hearing on November 17th. So that's all I've got.
Dan, could you just tell us again, when are those final numbers going to be coming in?
They're due from the state no later than November 20th.
20th?
Okay. That's it. Then, Teresa, can you read number 20?
Yes, consideration of a motion to convene into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 1985, section 1, section C.
Is that the motion? That's the motion? Right? I haven't done that. Like, we hardly ever go into closed session, so.
I didn't know I was making it, so.
Okay. There's a motion and a second to go into closed session. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, we'll be in closed session in the conference